Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, race number 10 at Gulfstream Park on Holy Bull Saturdays for 3-year-old fillies. This is the grade 3 forward gal, 7/8 of a mile, 125 is the purse. Let's take a look at this field. We've got 10 in here, and it's a pretty wide open race on paper, Mike. Several of these horses still have to sort of prove themselves against stakes competition, but you have some very impressive maiden winners, some horses that have done some good work in listed stakes as well.
Yeah, that's true. In particular, I think the number 8, Dan, Red Carpet Ready, it's going to be interesting to see what she does because she is already a stakes winner, 2 for 2, and it feels like has the kind of tactical speed that could really play in this race. I don't know. I do think it's kind of wide open, though. I wanted to make cases for a lot of different horses.
Our friends at Timeform US believe that this pace might be fast. Note the red bar on your Timeform US pace projector, Red Carpet Ready. The number 8 has shown speed in both lifetime starts. The 4 Orella Star was the pace setter last time out in the cash run stakes. Twice as Street stretches out off of a couple of 6-furlong races where she was close to the pace. I even can see the 7 Undervalued Asset. I know that was a slow pace she pressed last time out. Maybe she can get close as well. Personally, I think Red Carpet Ready is first or second after a half mile.
Yeah, me too. I think she's definitely going to show speed in here. She did, rate very kindly last time, Dan, when another horse wanted the lead. So I don't think she necessarily has to be on a scent here. And more than anything else, I don't know, when I went through the race, and I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I didn't necessarily see it being a fast pace. Certainly some horses could go in here and maybe that'll change things. But when I went through it, I didn't, find a ton of super fast horses in here.
The number 1 in here is a daughter of Frosted. Her name is Flakes, and she was great in her debut against maiden optional claimers going 3/4 of a mile. The pace wasn't very fast. She sat off of it, and she storms on home to win. Only a 69 buyer. She has to do better, but she's bred to be okay. Again, being by Frosted, the dam was a stakes-winning dirt router. This is a step up in class, and she'll be a price.
Yeah, listen, maybe, we'll see if stepping right into the forward gal off of this win winds up being too much too soon, Dan. I actually think she's really interesting running in this race, though. I thought her debut was legitimately good. It might not have been the strongest field in the world, but she really ran in there and just did everything right in that race. She's got to break from the rail here and stretch out a furlong, but she looks like she has a lot of potential.
The number 2 Twice as Sweet hinted that she might be okay 3 starts back when running second to a very talented sprinter named Key of Love. It was a race where she was kind of forced to make a 4-wide bid at the leader on the turn and then ended up being rebuffed. She found a great spot for Brendan Walsh 2 starts back in the Smart Halo at Laurel. It wasn't a strong field. She looked good winning. And last time out at the fairgrounds, she just missed a photo for second.
She did. I mean, maybe you could argue that Dan in that most recent start, just sort of being sort of hung up on the outside the entire way, worked against her a little bit. I actually thought that she would run better in that fairground stakes than she actually did. But she did just miss second in a 3-way photo. So we'll see. I thought she looked really good winning 2 back, and her other races are fine. I just kind of want to see what kind of price she winds up before I decide whether I want to use her or not.
And while Timeform US does have her close to the pace, it'll be interesting to see if it is a fast pace, if she can stay as close. When she won at Laurel 2 starts back on a wet track, I didn't think that pace was very fast. The 3 is Atomically, and this horse looked very good at Gulfstream Park as a 2-year-old, won the My Dear Girl for Florida Breds by Open Lengths. That led to a private purchase. That led to Todd Pletcher running her in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and that race might have just been a little too tough for her.
Probably just a little too tough. She was also, from the start of that race all the way around to the top of the stretch, Dan, she was really close to a fast pace that day and was still in contention. She just got really tired through the stretch. So I feel like the trip and certainly the competition probably was just worked against her there. Her 2 wins at the end of last year were both really good. She broke her maiden going this distance on this track. She just took no prisoners that day and blasted that field. And she came back off of a wide trip in that stakes race and ran really well again.
And we saw a horse, Chop Chop, come back from a poor performance in the Breeders' Cup to run well. Second in a stake at the fairgrounds with an 88 buyer. If Atomically runs back to anything that she did at Gulfstream 2 and 3 back, she's going to be a force in this race. The turn back to 7 shouldn't be a problem at all. Orella Star is the 4, gate to wire winner, 2 starts back over Sloppy going in a 2 life allowance. They tried her a 1-turn mile in the cash run, Mike. I couldn't find any excuses on the lead. She just got tired.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see an excuse for her there. She's going to get to cut back a furlong here. I'm not sure how much it's really going to help her, Dan. To me, she's just a horse who has to improve quite a bit if she's going to pull off the upset here.
Maybe she'll revert to the stalking tactics that worked in her second lifetime start against a weaker maiden field going 5.5. Apropos just missed in her career debut, bounced right back to win for the always able Jimmy Toner barn. Let's watch second lifetime start, sloppy track, 3/4 of a mile, and Apropos made a pretty strong move on the turn to get into contention, Mike, and then kept right on going, and the runner-up flattered this performance by graduating in her next start a maiden special with a 70 buyer.
Yeah, agreed. Like this win from her. I know it was on a wet track, so I guess you have to concern yourself with that. But I thought she ran pretty well in her career debut also, Dan. Another filly in here, and I think there are several of them. She's already run well. She's got a lot of upside for a really good trainer. I think she's a really interesting horse in here, dependent on price.
The number 6, Lynx, won her first 3 starts, 2 stakes down at Gulfstream, one at this 7/8 distance. She was odds on against Atomically in that 2-turn stake, the My Dear Girl. Atomically was just better than she was. She came back in her first start of the year on New Year's Day in the 1-turn cash run. We're going to watch that race right now. For most of this race, she was in and among horses. She's finally going to get to the outside now in the stretch, and she'll end up running on for third. The pace wasn't very fast. I thought it was a useful effort, Mike. I think turning back to 7 is going to work for her, especially if she gets some pace to work with.
Yeah, I feel the same way about her. She ran fine in here. I didn't necessarily feel like she had a huge excuse, but she did just miss second at the end there. Overall, it was an okay performance with another step in the right direction as far as figures go. And more than anything else, Dan, she's cutting back a little bit here. She's 3 for 3 sprinting in her career, and it kind of feels like sprinting might be what she's best at right now.
Undervalued asset, the number 7 is one of the keys to this race because she's the proverbial could be any kind. She made her debut for Chad Brown in a maiden special weight at Aqueduct going 3/4. She was bet to odds on in a field of 5. And as we take a look, she wins very easily. Now, this pace was extremely slow. It's a 6-furlong race. They went the half in 48, and she's right on top of it. But she creates some separation real quick from everybody.
Yeah, settles it very quickly here, shaken up as they come to the 8th pole and just sort of runs away from this field. Dan, I didn't really know what to do with her in this spot. I know she's going to take money in here, and maybe the money will be right, and she's just going to turn out to be a good horse. But I could have gone either way. That replay we just watched, that was not only a slow pace, that was a terrible field. And she just wound up running away. So I don't really know what to make of her. And I just felt like the more I thought about it, she's going to be a short price in here. I think this is a way tougher race, and I'm going to stand against her, but I won't be surprised if she wins.
Nice to see Rusty Arnold with a talented 3-year-old. Here's a daughter of Oscar Performance, the number 8, Red Carpet Ready. All she did in her career debut at Churchill Downs was, she won by 10. She didn't look like a 36-1 shot that day for Rusty. And then she came right back and didn't really look like a 7-1 shot when she won at Churchill Downs going 6.5. She's got great tactical speed, a good attack outside post, and figs.
Yeah, I found really nothing to knock about her again. She was good first time out, made the lead in there, but had a horse come after her early, had to sort of pick up the pace a little bit and just went on with it. And then got away through the stretch. I know that was a wet track, but it was faster last time. She had to concede a little bit, was happy to track another horse, and I thought won really easily once again. To me, in some ways, she's the horse to beat in here.
The number 9 is Positano Sunset, and trainer Ian Wilkes usually likes to give his horses a race or two before they find their best stride. And we've seen this to be the case with Positano Sunset, who improved second time out behind the very promising next out graded stakes winner Julia Shining, and then winning third out at Churchill Downs as an odds-on favorite with an 80 buyer, which is nothing to sneeze at, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. The figure could be key for that maiden win last time. Personally, Dan, it's not the kind of race that I got, super excited about. I thought she ran fine in there. She got a good trip. and she was clear at the end. But it's not the race that I was, sort of blown away by 2 starts back when she came off the pace going 7. I guess you could give her credit for that too, Dan, but the winner came from way out of it. So she felt like she had a really good setup. I don't know. She's another one. I won't be surprised when she runs well in here, but I wasn't completely sold on her.
Completing the field is the number 10, Adelisa's Smile, a well-bred daughter of Uncle Mo at a Woodbine Oaks winner, Academic, pulled off a huge upset with Lasix. Of course, she won't race without Lasix on Saturday. She's 40-1 in this maiden special, and Leonel Reyes gave her a nice ground-saving trip.
Yeah, she has plenty of room down on the inside here, Danny. She's just going to forge up at the end to get the job done here at a huge price, as you've already mentioned. She certainly took a step forward in this race. I think she's got to do that again. Top pick time for the grade 3 forward gal. Mike, you liked Atomically a little bit last year in the Breeders' Cup. Only logical that you'd go back to her here, dropping in class, dropping in distance. If she runs what she did in the My Dear Girl last year, she's probably going to win. Yeah, it's a good spot for her. I like her cutting back a little bit to 7 for this race, Dan. And she's got tactical speed to be up close. No, even if she's not going to be compromised by pace in this race. I think it's a great spot for her, and I like her. Among the horses who are going to take money in here, I prefer her. The other horse I wanted to throw in there at a price, so I think will be a price, is the 1 Flakes. Yeah, the 1 Flakes really looked good in her maiden race. It'll be interesting to see how she handles stepping up in class. I found this to be a tougher race on paper and a spread in multiple race wagers. I liked what Twice as Sweet did 2 starts back. I wish she ran a little bit better last time out at the fairgrounds. I think she's tactical enough to work out a trip. I thought the 9 and the 8 looked good out of town shipping in for this race. 3-2-8-1 for Mike, 2-9-8-6 for me. Grade 3 forward gal, one of several graded races at Gulfstream on Saturday. Best of luck.